Hi, I'm Willem Tulp. I'm a data experience designer from the Netherlands, and for almost 10 years I've been creating custom data visualizations for a large variety of clients all over the world. And today I want to talk about side projects. Not only because they are fun to do, but I also think they're extremely valuable, especially if you're a data visualization designer. So, what makes a project a side project? I think that is something everybody knows. Usually it's self-initiated and it's also not your main job. I think there are two main objectives when you do a side project. You want to learn something, but oftentimes you also want to show something. When you learn something, you're investing in your own skills, which obviously is very important to do when you're a data visualization designer, because you need to have some skills to design them. Obviously, there are many resources out there to learn all about data visualization. But I would like to highlight two of them. The first one is Makeover Monday. I think the community is a little bit Tableau oriented, but I don't think there's a requirement for you to use Tableau. Makeover Monday is an initiative that has been around for several years now, and the organizers, they invite you to participate in the redesign of a chart every week of the year. And so this is a really great way to learn from other people how they redesign a certain chart. The organizers also create a video showing how they would do it themselves, and they also create videos of reviews, etc. So this is a really, really great learning resource. Another one I would like to point out is Observable. And Observable is a website which allows you to create interactive notebooks. It's more, if you're more into coding, then Observable is a good website. Not only for your own creations, but there are many people on there, and they are sharing their work, their own experiments, their own trials. So you can learn from other people's code and see how they have done this. So these are two really good resources. The other thing is to show, and that basically means putting things in your portfolio. I think if you're a data visualization designer, having a portfolio is kind of a requirement. With a portfolio, people know that you exist, they can learn what you do, and they also understand that you're good at what you do. Now, when you create a portfolio, I always recommend to not just put everything you do in your portfolio. Only put things in your portfolio that you're really, really proud of, or a project that you want to do more of, because that is what people will see, and they will hire you for the things that they will see in your portfolio. Now, this all sounds quite common and not necessarily maybe different from other professions. If you're a graphic designer, front-end developer, an artist, you could do the same things, learning and showing things. But why would you need side projects as a visualization designer? If you're a little bit like me, you really want to work on cool data visualization projects. And for me, it means I don't want to do it just as a hobby. I really want to do it professionally, and I really want to make some money out of it as well, make a living out of it, to put it a little bit better. That's really nice, because you can make a living out of things that you love doing. So if you look at a typical career path of a data visualization designer, maybe you're a student or you have another profession or something like that. And at some point you learn about data visualization. And you come to the conclusion that data visualization is so cool, you want to do it professionally. So you want to earn a living as a data visualization designer. Maybe as a freelancer, maybe in a company. But if you want people to know that you like data visualization, that you're good at it, you might want to have to show some work. And doing side projects is a good way to initially fill your portfolio with projects. This is exactly what I did myself. And one of the ways that I did at the time was participating in competitions, which allowed me to fill my portfolio even more with side projects that were also part of this competition. So doing side projects to initially build up a portfolio is a very good way. But once you are a professional data visualization designer, you might argue, well, I'm a professional now. I only do client projects in my portfolio from now on. And this, of course, is a possibility. But I think if you want to keep doing the cool visualizations that you really love doing, I think doing side projects while you're a professional still makes a lot of sense. And the thing is, with the project in your portfolio, they can lead to new projects. And this is true for client projects, but this is also true for side projects. And the best example I can give you is this one. So on the left, you see a project I did on time, every time, which is a side project. And I visualized publicly available data and I created a map of the Netherlands in which you see trains traveling during one day. But the map distorts based on the number of trains and where they're going, etc. So this was a kind of a creative experiment of showing an alternative way to represent this data. Now, this exact project led to a client project for the Dutch railways because they could see that their data could be visualized in another way. So on the right, you see the project I did for the Dutch railways. And for me personally, I like not doing the same thing twice, so I came up with another concept. So the reason why I think that side projects are valuable, and this is a good example, is because you have freedom. Now you see these nice images on the back of people standing with their arms wide, most of them photographed on the back in nature. And that's what you get when you do a stock image search for the word freedom. So this is what freedom looks like. But this freedom is really, really important, especially for data visualization, because there are no restrictions from anyone. It's just you, your ideas, your creativity, your inspiration, your skills, only you. And I think this is especially important because as data visualization designer, you have the skill to imagine what data could visually look like in different ways or in appropriate ways, maybe making the right diagram and chart choices. So you have a very unique skill that is, at the same time, very hard for other people to imagine. Many people think it's just bar charts, line charts, and pie charts. But that's not true. Also, when to use a bar chart or when to use a line chart. Even that can be tricky for some people. I still have to explain to a lot of people, if I say I'm a data visualization designer, I still have to explain to them what I do exactly. So for a lot of people, it is hard to imagine what data visualization is. And also, looking at this project I just showed you about the trains, you cannot describe it in words and convince people that this is something that they need or that it could be really cool for them. You really have to show them. And data visualization gives you a lot of opportunity to give your own twist on a data set or a redesign of a certain diagram or chart or whatever. So I think this potential to do your unique thing, that's absolutely the value of doing side projects. Now, when you do side projects, of course, you need to have some ideas. And I keep my own list of ideas, which is highly recommended. I currently have more than 350 ideas, so I don't have enough time to do all of them. But it's really nice to keep a list of them. Again, there are many ways to come up with ideas, looking at other people's work. But also, I would like to point out this publicly available spreadsheet, but also a newsletter from Jeremy Singer-Vine. It's called Data is Plural. And he's been sharing interesting data sets for several years now. And currently there are over 1,100 data sets in this collection. So there's a lot to choose from if you want to start a side project. Another thing that I personally do is I use TweetDeck on Twitter, and I have one column in which I have some kind of cheap accounts like Uber Facts or The Weird World, and they state some facts, usually without sources or anything. But that doesn't really matter to me, because what they do state is that they mention some interesting facts that could be a starting point for a visualization project. So the one that I highlighted here is having red hair and blue eyes is the rarest hair-eye color combination possible. Well, no sources or whatever, so the tweet in itself is kind of not so good, but it can be a starting point for a side project. You can start searching for data. You can turn that into something. I haven't seen all the visualizations in the world, of course, but I also cannot remember a visualization about hair color and eye color and how unique you are. So can you turn that into something that is very interesting, very engaging, very nicely looking? Following these type of accounts can generate a lot of ideas. So the question is, what makes a good data visualization side project? This may differ for everybody, of course, but I think there are two main reasons. The first one is relevance. And there's several ways that you can make sure that your data visualization is relevant for your audience. Using well-known data sets, so weather data, election data, something like that, it's data everybody knows. So that automatically creates some kind of relevance, or people know it already. You can also tie it to a current event like the Corona crisis, the Olympics, the Tour de France, all those kind of things. If you do a visualization related to that and publish it close to the event, then people are interested in it. Using a human scale, sometimes data is published in very large time frames or aggregate numbers. If you can change the unit so that it becomes more relevant for people, because it's in a human scale, then that's could be something that people find very interesting, especially if it's something they already know, but it's now presented to them in a different way that they can relate to much more. And that's, again, making it relatable. So the human scale is one thing, but also being able to find yourself in a data set. So if you can find your city, or you can find your community in a data set, or you can find your country, that is something people also are usually interested in. The other thing is originality. One thing is obviously creating or collecting your own data is by definition something original, and that can be very cool, because you can create something that nobody has done before in that sense. You can also create a redesign of an existing visualization, of course, especially in my experience, there are also some communities that are used to certain types of visualization, so even another very extreme redesign can make a big impacts on certain communities, because they're used to a certain way of looking at data. So that's definitely an opportunity there. Trying new visual interaction concepts, so the train data where the maps is distorted, that is an example of a new visual concept for that particular data. Visualizing uncommon questions. Many times people are asking the same questions. So for elections, who has won, which are the big winners and losers of the election, is a common question. So if you ask different questions, that could be something interesting. And also if you have the possibility to create an engaging design, something people are using for a certain amount of time, longer time, then that is also people really enjoy. So let me show you some examples. Some are mine, some are other people's work. This project is called Close Votes. This one is mine. It's about the election of 2012, and I actually collected the data because eventually it was published, freely available, but I scraped it from some site that was already publishing it before the official publication. So I wanted to publish my visualization as close to the elections as possible. It's a new concept or a new visual representation of election data. People can find their own city. I'm also not revealing everything at once. So I've heard from some people that they spend half an hour during work time playing around with this visualization to see if they could find something. So it was very engaging. So this, I consider this to be quite a successful side project. Here's another one, a more recent one I did, COVID spreading rates, which shows you how fast new cases are reported in every country. And yeah, this was also quite successful because a lot of people are interested in this, of course. I think the entire world is now dealing with the corona crisis, so this could be relevant for everyone. At the same time, this data is usually published in this number of new cases per week or per day or something like that. But what I did here is I turned it into a simulation so that you get in real time, simulated real time, how quickly new cases are reported in every country. And people can, of course, see their own country, etc. Here's another project I did tied to the European election in order to create interest in this visualization. And it's basically a redesign of a website you often see during elections, where people can get statements and they say, I agree, disagree, and in the end you get an advice or suggestion, you agree most with this party and a little bit with that one, etc. This was a different approach in which you kind of eliminate all the unique sets of answers of each political party. So maybe with 3 clicks you already have a unique combination for one particular party. So also it gives you an overview and other things. So this also worked out quite well. This is a very well-known side project by Stephanie Posavec and Giorgio Lupi, the Dear Data project, in which they send postcards to each other for every week for a year, and they collected their own data. They made unique drawings on the front and unique legends at the back of the postcard, and it's very relatable. It's also very human, the human scale, because they collected their own data. And it's very unique, of course, although not anymore, because currently there's a book, an exhibition, and there's communities, a workbook, etc. So it's now a very well-known project, but at the time it was a very unique and original approach. And also a great way for people to get an easy, for them, if you want to try it out yourself, an easy way to get introduced to data visualization. Here's another one by Mort Stefaner. Satellite data, everybody knows satellite data, and I don't know if this was his exact thinking process, but his uncommon question was, where's the sun right now? Where is the sun looking at straight down? So this is a kind of an endless animation of satellite imagery from the point where the sun is looking straight down. I think it's a really great idea. Another one by Greg Taylor. He tried a new visual approach to showing commuting data. It's relatable because a lot of people can find cities they live in. And you see these nice coral kind of shapes, and it's really a great experiment. Another side project by Sonja Kuiper, and she even won an award for this at the Informationally Beautiful Award, and it's about suicide in the Netherlands. And usually you just get a table with the number of suicides in different categories. And she made it very personal and very relatable to draw every single person as either a cloud or a building or a tree or grass or whatever. And so this is a very unique visual representation of something, something quite abstract, if you say just the number of people who committed suicide. And it's also very personal. So this is also a great side project. An older one, the Guns project in 2018 by Periscopic. Again, it's the human scale is made obvious here because every single line represents one person that got shot in the United States. They also had an uncommon question like the stolen year, so this person could have lived to be this age, etc. Really great visual metaphor, the visual approach to it. So, great project as well. And finally, this one is the wind map by Fernando Viegas and Martin Wattenberg. Everybody knows wind, everybody knows weather maps, and they created this animated approach where you actually see flows of wind. And this was a very unique and engaging approach to showing wind data. And after this project, several or a lot of projects use this approach as well. Here are some more projects. I will share my slides afterwards, and it's online and interactive. So every side project you see right here is clickable, and you can explore them yourself. So to conclude, I would say that side project, especially for data visualization, is very important because it allows you, without any restrictions, to show people what is possible. And you have the skills and the creativity and the inspiration to show them. And so I very much look forward what side project you come up with. Thank you very much.